Emperor, we come for you! We come for you!
Did IQs just drop sharply while I was away?
Long live the fighters!
I love that music. It's so much fun.
I do too. I enjoy it every time it comes on.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Well, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Fusion Underground Season 2, Episode 5 now.
Wow, gosh. We're blazing through.
We're getting up there. We're getting up there.
It's crazy.
And yeah, here at the Fusion Underground, what we try to do is we try to make sense of the world by having principled discussions about such topics as entertainment, current events, politics, and culture. Our mission is to educate people to become critical thinkers so they can live more empowered and happier lives. As always, I'm your host, Manuel Ramirez, and I'm joined in the virtual studio by my co-host, Jason Moret. How are you doing, brother?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. So I'm excited for this for this episode.
Yeah, that scares me just a little bit. Because you never tell me what we're going to talk about. You're like, oh, I got some good stuff for you. This is going to be fun. And that usually means you're going to poke me or poke the bear just to hear me go off so that you can sit back and giggle.
Definitely. We are definitely going to be doing that tonight because there are several different things that have happened over the last week. I'm trying my hardest not to assemble the soapbox.
Oh no. I no. Well, I will try my hardest to put the soapbox underneath your feet, sir.
Trying really hard. Really, 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 really hard.
Well, but you got to understand, me on a rant that's just me. When you actually get on a rant, all of our listeners seem to really enjoy that. So
yeah, I don't know why.
As a duty to our listening audience, I feel it is incumbent upon me as your wonderful co-host to support their well wishes and make sure that you are properly pedestaled.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I wanted to share this. You sent this to me a few days ago, but I wanted to share this for everybody to watch. Because you sent this. Okay. You sent this to me, and it's absolutely hysterical. So check this out.
And what a game here as Johnson kicks towards the goal, and oh my God, Singh makes a fantastic save. But I believe he hit his nuts on the goalpost. He is down. Let us have a closer look at instant replay. Not only just self-sacrifice on this play, but sacrificing future generations as well. Obviously going all out for his team, saving the ball right here, but also losing two on the play, putting his balls on the line. Let us have a moment of silence for this man's fallen brothers. As you see right here, he got to the ball and so did the goalpost. Not only taking one for the team, he took two. Talk about going balls out for a play. With that being said, I would like to take this time to recommend you all to see the Nutcracker movie coming out this winter. Wow, this game is absolutely nuts.
Now, as a point of clarity, I do think it's important to point out that was actually sent to me by one of our devout listeners who said specifically that I needed to forward that to Lucy. Not
it's
Dr.
beautiful.
Ramirez, but Lucy.
It is so beautiful. It is just a work of art. And I have no idea if that's actually real or not. But it just doesn't matter. It's just so well done. I must have watched that thing like 10 times.
I believe you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did rather enjoy that. So, I'm kind of curious how you're doing with the whole COVID thing.
Fine.
Well,
Wait.
I mean, how, are you nervous, or are you still, living the dream? Are you still holed up in your far great northern
No,
fortress of
Papa
solitude?
Jason has not been holed up ever. There was a point where I was actually not allowed to go into work, and so I was working from home. But no, life is pretty much normal for me, minus the fact that I'm not able to walk my kids into their classroom or at daycare, of course, because my daughter's not quite kindergarten age. Thank God. I would be really disheartened and really, really upset if she was starting kindergarten while all this stupidity was going on.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm over it. Actually, no, I see a light at the end of the tunnel. I think what we talked about last week with the CDC retconning their numbers as far as actual COVID deaths, which station break was, as of last Saturday, not 153,504, but that number was corrected to 9,210.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
with that
Brought back
news,
down.
actually, I am optimistic that we're going to get back to real life at some point. Do I think that
November
this will
4th.
Yeah, this is gonna, excuse me, continue to be held out till at least November 4th, at least. But I think the American public is really waking up to the reality of what we're dealing with. And newsflash again, at 9,000 deaths, we are less than the flu.
Correct.
Less than a normal season of the flu for mortality rate. I got to say, let that sink in 1 second. A normal season of the flu has claimed more lives than this outbreak of COVID-19.
Well, here's something that I've noticed. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this. It certainly feels as if the news around COVID-19 is waning.
It is.
It really feels that way. And I'm not saying it's completely gone. I'm not saying it's out of the news cycle entirely, but I feel like the media is giving up on it. And I think that's happened over the last 2 weeks. I think with a lot of the new reports that have come out, and especially with the CDC revising their numbers, there are a lot of states and counties that we have now realized that they've been cooking the books in some cases intentionally, most cases not intentionally. It's just in the way that they set up the rules that they were counting, and we're now finding out what those rules are, and everybody with a brain is saying, why would you count them that way? And so that is causing numbers to be revised downward. And so from what I've gathered in following news media, it just seems like a lot of news sites, news reporting, news sources have really tapered off. And I think they're starting to realize that, one, the American people are sick and tired of it. And two, the narrative that has been surrounding it is the bottom has fallen out. And I think they're changing their tune. I really do. I think it's changing, which is a great thing, because
No, it is. It is. And we talked a little bit this last week about internal polling. Internal polling, a lot of people use that, and a lot of businesses use that too. And don't forget, the news media, it's a business. And if their internal polling is showing that their ratings are suffering because people are tired of hearing and talking about COVID, and the conversation's not revolving around what to do in response to it, the conversation now in our culture right now is shifting to, how the hell do we get back to normal life and forget this junk, and that's a bunch of garbage, and what we've been shoved down our throat for the last 6 months is a big friggin' lie. And so it doesn't shock me that the news media as a whole entity actually is just kind of, we're going to keep reporting on numbers and updates, but that's not our primary focus. We're going to start shifting.
Yeah.
And, in all actuality, we're closing in on November.
Yeah,
it's time to start shifting gears and talking about everything is going to be election news.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
in geek news.
Ooh, geek news, go.
In geek news, I finished Mass Effect 2 this morning. I get up early in the morning and everybody is still asleep in my household because I get up about 5 o'clock every morning. I take the dog out. I make coffee, right? And everybody in the house is asleep until at least 10. Oh. So I get, yeah, it's wonderful.
God,
yeah.
No, I hate you so much right now. And you know what? Every parent of young children hates you now.
Fantastic. That's awesome. and so I get about 5 or 6 hours before anybody even starts to wake up. And so this morning I finished Mass Effect 2 and I really enjoyed it. Last week I was telling you that I had started playing it again. And one of the things that I had remembered in this latest playthrough was the planet scanning. For those that don't know, just bear with us here. I'm not going to talk about Mass Effect for that long, but there's this sort of mini game inside Mass Effect 2 where you have to go around and you have to scan planets and you have to harvest 4 different types of rare minerals. And you do that because you have to. Okay. And you spend probably, I think over the entire course of the game, you'll probably spend about an hour scanning planets if you want to get all of the various upgrades and everything like that before you do the final mission. So you will spend about an hour, maybe an hour and a half total over the whole course of a 20-hour game. You'll spend about an hour or so mining. And I got into this point where I just really enjoyed it. Like it was really
you enjoyed the planet skin.
Yeah. Like I was going to this point where I was just like flying from solar system to solar system and I was just seeking out the planets and I would read the background on the planet and then I would just sit there and scan. And it was very, I don't know. It was very
relaxing.
Yeah.
Mind numbing. Yeah.
And what bothered me about this latest playthrough was one of my favorite characters died in the final mission, and that was Tali Zora. For some reason, I always kill Tali Zora. My very first playthrough ever of doing Mass Effect, of course, I saved. She didn't die, but when I got into Mass Effect 3, of course, she died, and then in this one, she died, and I was like, I don't know how she died. She took it right to the face. And was killed, and I was floored. I was stunned, and but here's the interesting thing. I finished Mass Effect 2 this morning, and then I immediately started a second playthrough.
Did you?
I imported the same character and started all over again. There was just a lot of stuff that I forgot about. There were a lot of little story elements that I had forgotten about. And one of the things that's really interesting about that game to me is if you do missions in different orders, you're going to see slightly different variations of the game unfold. Mm-hmm. And which I find interesting. So I'm playing it again. But here's the thing. So I played it. I started again and I played for about another 30 minutes or so on my, I have no idea how many times this will be playing through Mass Effect 2, but I started again. But then I also I'd started playing this other game that I had installed on my computer called Control. I don't know if you've heard of this one.
I don't think so.
It's fascinating. You have these telekinetic powers, and it's a creepy, like it feels like you're playing a high paranormal, like combine high paranormal with the FBI. And you get this game. It's like the X-Files on steroids, and wow. The production value is phenomenal, and it hooked me from the first few minutes of the game. I was absolutely hooked, and I'm totally bought into the world. There are a few things that I don't really like, just in terms of how they manage the menus system. but overall the gameplay and the world is really, really cool. And what's kind of freaky about the game at first is the main character is this woman, and she's talking and she's narrating at first, and then after a few minutes of playing, you feel like she's narrating not just in general. She's not telling necessarily like telling her story per se, but I felt like she was narrating to me as the player. And then and then a few more minutes beyond that, she literally starts to say things referencing you as the player. So it's like you are inside her head. Like you are you're like, you as the player are, you're merged with her sort of. And it's really cool the way they did that. And that was kind of like this mind-blowing moment. I was like, wow, she's literally talking about me. And the more I started to explore the game, one of the things I also noticed is the developers pulled a lot of psychoanalytical crap from Carl Jung. And Carl Jung, he talked about this thing called the collective unconscious. They actually mentioned that in the game. They mentioned the collective unconscious. But what's interesting is Carl Jung also talked about something called the anima or the animus. And I might get these two backwards, but for what those words refer to, essentially the same thing, and that's your inner unconsciousness. Okay. And what Carl Jung said was, or what he theorized about was that men, their inner consciousness will manifest as a female. And he called that an anima. And for women, not enema.
It sounded like you said.
Not an enema, an anima.
Are you having problems, Dr. Ramirez?
But the female in unconscious manifests in a masculine persona called the animus. And that immediately, when I was playing, it was before I even got into the part where they were talking about the collective unconscious of Carl Jung. And all of a sudden I kind of had that moment where I'm playing the game and she's literally talking to me as the player. And there was this moment where I thought, oh, I'm her animus in this game. I'm like her, I am literally like her unconscious coming to life and helping guide her through the game. And that was like this really kind of this cool moment. But I'm only about maybe a couple of hours into the game, so I've barely scratched the surface, but it's a lot of fun. I'm really
wow. I'm curious now. I feel like I have to pick it up. Although I don't know if I'm going to get that deep into the psychology of it. I'm just going to go, dude, this is pretty friggin' cool.
It's really kind of creepy because there are these moments like when you go into this large room and you see people who are, the whole game takes place in a skyscraper in downtown Manhattan. And so you go into these rooms and there are these people, these office workers that are hanging, and you think, okay, they're hanging from the ceiling. And then you start to investigate and you go in there and it's like, of course I've got my gun out and I'm like, I don't want to get too close to these people. I don't know what they're going to do. Right. And you realize, well, they look like they're hanging from their necks from the ceiling, but there's nothing actually connecting them to the ceiling. So they're just kind of like suspended in the air. And then there are all these voices and they're like, it's as if they're telepathically communicating with you and they're talking in the background. And it's very, very unnerving. There's a lot of, there's a lot of darkness to the game, but it's really cool. Really,
now
really cool.
Now I definitely have to check it out.
Yeah, I believe it's on console. So if you have one of the consoles, you can pick it up there. But I've been waiting for it on PC, and it came out a few weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah. Control, you said?
It's called Control. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did you get onto Button Masher for our friend and actually rate it?
I have not yet because I just started playing it tonight. So
Okay.
I have not gotten out on Button Masher yet to actually look into that.
Well, hey, speaking of replaying stuff, I actually started replaying something, but it's not a video game.
What did you start replaying?
My daughter.
The Super Bowl game of 1987.
No, although as awesome as that was. But no, my daughter actually pulled out my box set, and I mean box. It's literally in a box, and it looks like books. And it's a DVD set of the Lord of the Rings series, the actual 3 movies. And so we watched, and of course, it's the old DVD, so it's on 2 discs. So you have to actually stop halfway through the movie and get up and go.
Yeah, I have those. I have those.
I did
the
too.
Green, blue, and red.
Green, red, and blue.
Green, red, and blue. Yeah.
Yep. So, and I actually just finished those tonight. I didn't rewatch all the 900 hours of additional.
Fantastic. I have. I've
watched it. I've watched it through once, and because I paid money for it, so I'm going to get my every penny of the dollars that I spent on it. I'm going to get it out. So I watched it all once, but so yeah, no, it was kind of cool. And my daughter asked me for it, so hey, we got to watch it together.
I've watched all of the behind the scenes for the Lord of the Rings films, but I've also watched the movies with the director commentator on it as well. So
I've done that with some movies. I don't know that I did that with Peter Jackson. I cared, but I didn't care that much.
I cared because I'm a huge Tolkien fan, and I wanted to hear what it's him and Philippa Boyens, and I forget Peter Jackson's wife's name, but she also co-wrote it. So the 3 of them wrote it, and then of course Peter Jackson directed. But they talk about it, and what I was really interested in was hearing their reasoning or their takes behind certain films, talking about those scenes in the book and why they took a different track in certain areas, why they went a different way than the book, and that was really enlightening, and I really enjoyed it. So I would recommend for people to really enjoy. One of the coolest things that happens in the background of how the movies were made occurs in the Two Towers DVD sets.
Okay.
Because the King Theoden, right, the King of Rohan,
right,
when he puts on his armor, there's this whole scene where he's putting on the armor and right, and up in the Hornburg, and they're getting ready to ride out.
Where's the horse and the rider? Where's
exactly.
the horn that was blowing? Yeah.
So there's that whole scene. Well, what the armorers did when they were crafting his armor is on the chest plate, okay, it's all leather and banded with metal and stuff, but on the inside of the chest plate, they actually carved in there a sun, because the sun was an icon for the country of Rohan, and it's on their banners and their flags and everything. But they carved that sun on there because they wanted the sun, the symbol of Rohan, to be literally right next to the king's heart. And I was like, oh my God, how cool is that?
It's like, that's nerd candy right there.
Was total nerd candy. I was like, oh my God, that is pure genius. Like, the sun is right next to King Theoden's heart. Like, can't get any closer than that unless you like just cut his chest open. And I thought, wow, that was, and nobody would ever see that. Nobody sees that. Nobody will ever see that on film. But it's those little kinds of details that the producers and all of the manufacturers, the people making the film, put into the production, which was fantastic.
Well, and those are the kind of things that, as an actor, when you're looking at your props and your set pieces, and you go, well, why is this here? And they explain that to you. It actually helps. I guess it's kind of a visual or physical reminder for your character and what you're representing. So that's pretty intuitive, actually.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And another reason why I just love that so much is, as you know, most people don't realize this, but for Masons, we have certain, metaphors related to the sun and, moon and all of that. And so that was kind of like another parallel for me, thinking, wow, that's really cool. So anyway. Yeah.
No, that's pretty slick. I like it. That's nice. And I don't know that I even heard that before. So
yeah, it's, and they mention it really briefly in the background stuff, in the making of, I couldn't even tell you where it is. I'd have to watch the whole thing all over again in order to find it, because I have no idea where it's at.
Well, I'm sure it was probably in that part where they're actually strapping his armor on. I'll bet.
It might have been. It might have been.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was not in the director commentary.
Oh, well, then never mind.
It was just in the regular behind the scenes, how they made the
extra
movie,
footage,
extra stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, so I wanted to mention to you that remember a couple of weeks ago there was this huge story about the post office.
The $25 billion
Right,
request.
There was the $1 billion request. People were coming out of the woodwork. The thing that I love about Twitter is anytime there's a new change, anytime there's a new topic that is sort of in the zeitgeist of the American, psychology, everybody on Twitter or on social media, they're an expert in it.
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah, we've known about this forever, and look at this, and look at this, and look at this.
They immediately become an expert on it. So of course, for that week or two, everybody was an expert on the Postal Service, right? But strange, I was thinking about it today, and I thought that story is completely gone. Nobody is talking about the post office anymore.
Right.
Nobody is talking about the post office.
Except for some of the random email videos that I get of people actually dumping mail into dumpsters in there when they roll up in their postal van, and then, oh, there goes ballots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, interesting enough, you actually talked about mail-in ballots. Or we talked about it, excuse me, mail-in, absentee, etc.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you fill your mail-in ballot out, put it in its sleeve and protective envelope and blah, 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 blah. And then you walk it down to the post office. Or not the post office, excuse me. The polling place, excuse me, and actually turn it in. So I had an interesting video sent to me, and this gal is going through, she gets her ballot by mail, as does her brother who lives with her apparently. She's a registered Republican. He's a registered Democrat. So they both fill out their mail-in ballots, but they are taking them down to the polling place.
I believe everybody should.
And I get that. Now, she actually showed on camera why she felt that was important. Because on the back, on that barcode, there's the numbers of your district, your area, neighborhood, etc. But right in the middle, there's a D or an R.
Yeah.
If you're a Democrat, you have a D. If there's an R, or you're Republican, you have an R. So anybody, they don't have to open your ballot to know that you're a registered Republican or Democrat. And if they're going to just pitch ballots, all the Republican ones are going to get pitched. Or if, they are segregating against the Democrats, all the Democrats get pitched. It's very easy. You just turn it over and R for Republican, Democrat. You can sort that, decide which ones you're going to carry on or out. And so, they're actually taking them to the polling place, just like what you discussed. So it was interesting. I saw that video of that, and I didn't realize that either. Yeah,
I always do that because I don't, when it goes through the Postal Service, they're not trained. They're trained on delivering the mail, yes, but they're not trained on how to handle the ballots. And as we've seen, there's been several video footage of just, mail carriers, letter carriers dumping mail in the garbage, literally in dumpsters. Plus, who hasn't had something take forever to get to its destination or get lost in the mail? And I mean, everybody talks about the horrors of the United States Postal Service and then losing stuff. And how many hands does it go through before it finally reaches the destination? Should it get there? And so I always walk it in. I always take it, and it literally takes 2 seconds. You walk in and you drop it off and then you walk out. And, there's in the past, when I would take it in, there would usually just be a big bin and you just tossed it in the bin. And there was no covering on the bin. It was like behind, you go up and it's over on the side by a table, then somebody's sitting right there. And they say, oh, I've got a mail-in ballot. And they're like, oh, just put it in the bin. And then you just toss it in there and you walk out. My polling place this last time when I went, it was a steel metal, trash can looking thing very rectangular, tall, but it was locked. So there was just this slit that you can just slide it in there, and it had, it had the lock right there and everything. So it's there, it's delivered. And, yes, could the polling place do something with the ballots? Yeah, I suppose so. But, they're always looking and doing things in double and triplicate when they're handling all of those things. So I would just prefer to take it in. It's literally no different than if I were to just go in and fill my ballot out at the poll itself.
Right.
So.
Right. Yep. And I've done both. I've gotten my mail-in ballot and I've gone to the polling place. Matter of fact, I believe last year last big election, I went down to actually go fill out my ballot at the polling place, and they told me I was on the mail-in ballot list, so I had to actually fill out a form to vote there because they'd already sent my ballot to my house. And I said,
right.
Well, I didn't want to do it at my house and mail it in. I want to actually go down to my polling place this year.
Yeah.
Well, you're not supposed to do that. Oh, well, okay, fine.
And then what they do is your ballot doesn't get counted right away. They set it aside, and they have to wait so many days because after a certain point, they no longer accept ballots in the mail. At least that's how it works here in Arizona. So after a certain point, they just say, it doesn't matter. We don't accept them anymore because you mailed it too late. And so, and they do that because they have to have that cutoff for exactly what you described. Right. Because you have to be able to vote. So you have the right to vote as an American citizen. So if you show up at the polling place and you say, well, I want to cast my vote, they have to let you vote. But then they set your vote aside if they know that you received a mail-in ballot, and they don't count it right away until that deadline passes. And then as long as your vote hasn't shown up through some other channels, then they will count your daily poll.
It's a provisional ballot.
Correct. Yeah. So I have something I wanted to show you. Okay. So I have this video here, and I think people will be pleasantly surprised. And I want to talk through this because I found it to be quite hysterical. I find the whole thing to be quite hysterical. So I thought, well, let's talk about this. So as you can see, and so I'll explain a little bit as we go through this, what's happening. But right now there's a gas station. Who knows where this is at? There's some trees in the background, but there's a gas station here. And there you can see part of the road right in front. And standing in front of the gas station, as you pull off the road into the gas station, there's a line of people. And these are Black Lives Matter people. And you see this big, full-size F-250, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ford truck.
Wanting to get some gas.
He's right in front of the line here. Watch what happens, because I think this is absolutely hysterical. So he's coming up. He wants to get gas. So he's inching forward. And so all of these humans, okay, now let's think about this here.
Okay.
This is an F-250. This might as well be a tank. And these mental giants have decided, you know what?
They're going to make a human chain, because if they link their arms together in front of the truck, they're going to have more gumption than the vehicle to be able to stop it and hold it. This is not Red Rover.
Right.
Red Rover, send the redneck in the F-250 on over.
This is not what you want to, this is not the hill that you want to die on. Okay. So let's watch it.
Yep.
I think that pop was like one of their water bottles or something. I think he ran over one.
Yeah, I can see it. Yep.
Now he's slowly inching into these people. Watch this guy right here with the black stretchy pants and the gray shirt and the muffin top.
Uh-huh.
Watch this dude. This dude cracks me up. He's literally going to stop the truck. Stop the truck. Like, this guy thinks he's Superman, and he's going to be able to dig deep and keep this truck from inching. It's just inching into. I mean, this guy's like, you know what? I need gas, man. This guy must be like literally on E. If that were me, I would have just kept going and gone to the next gas station.
Well, okay. So I get the standoff mentality. There's a big part of me that totally gets this. Like, okay, really, you're going to stop my truck? But let's be honest. He's going to have to get out in a minute to pump. What are you going to do? Okay.
Right.
All right.
Right. Look at him. Look at
He's all stretched out. You know what I would? This is what I would do because I'm that guy. I'd throw it in reverse, boom, and just floor it and watch everybody hit their face.
He is literally like, yes, I'm going to, using my stretchy pants and willpower.
But he's got his boots on.
I'm braced, and I am not going to allow a Ford F-250 to come into the gas station.
Yeah. We have children. This lady says we have children.
No, we are effing children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're effing children. So, okay, so then why are you out here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
Your kids, they're basically saying, what are you doing? They're basically mad and yelling at the driver saying, what are you doing? We're kids. We're children. You're going to try to run us over? But this dude is... homeboy here, he's like, you know what? I'm on E. I got to get me some gas.
Yeah.
Now he's racist, right?
Right.
The dude just wants some gas, and somehow with him inching into the gas station, he has magically transformed into a racist.
Right.
Or at least revealed himself to be a racist.
Well, absolutely, because everybody's racist.
Right.
It's just the amount of which you're tolerated, I guess.
Yeah.
So they gave up, and they're mad.
Yeah.
And they're gonna let him go by.
Yeah. This guy jumps on the back and starts. Now, home dude starts getting out of the truck, and they all disperse.
They all left? Now what? Wow. Okay. He gets out, and they all took off.
They all take off.
Now what? They said everybody get back. I couldn't hear what they said. I'm curious as to what the threat was that caused them all to suddenly decide that it wasn't worth it.
Yeah. So of course they gotta call him all these names. It gets better. Oh look, it's just an old dude.
It's an old guy.
It's just some old guy. He's like, I'm just gonna get some gas.
Yep.
And of course, he's got a few people that are, still screaming at him. There are a couple people here, but the majority of the mob has now dispersed because he got out of his truck. And he's just like, whatever. I don't even know you're there.
A little polo shirt, jeans, and sneakers.
Yeah. That was fantastic because this guy, I don't know if you heard him, this guy who's standing right in this black shirt, he says, well, where'd you come from? And he said, oh, just right around the corner. And then, of course, he has to endure these people yelling at him, cursing at him.
Here at the Shell gas station where Trayford was shot and killed by police had formed.
The best part, I think, is coming up.
But this truck.
Okay. Oh, did they block him in?
His people there. They weren't moving.
You ain't blocking that truck.
This man still kept driving through. We can see them kind of just getting into a confrontation right now.
You're gonna be famous tonight.
But again, they were trying to explain to the man what they were actually doing, and he kept driving.
Wait. This woman, is that a leopard print shower cap?
I think so.
That looks like a leopard print shower cap this lady walks by wearing. And of course,
So
they're
of course now. So now they're keeping him. He got into the pump, but he's not able to actually pay for his gas or start pumping his gas because they've surrounded him again. They took off and then they surrounded him again.
And they're telling him, they're yelling at him to say his name over and over again. Say his name. Say his name.
Yeah,
assuming
and he's like, he's probably going to say, "Well, say whose name?"
Yeah.
I don't understand what you guys are doing.
All of these people are in front of him.
Say his name. Say his name. Let me talk to them really quick. This is the type of foolishness that we're talking about. This man took his vehicle and tried to pass it through a peaceful protest.
Tried. I think he was successful. I think he successfully passed it through a peaceful protest.
And he did pass through a peaceful protest.
Oh yeah, he didn't just try. He accomplished that feat.
Right.
And tried to kill us.
Oh, he tried to kill you.
He tried to kill you. No, actually, it looked like you were trying to commit suicide by S2E5.
He tried to kill people because he was moving at about 50 feet an hour. Wow.
I don't even think it was that.
While he rolled his vehicle slowly through the crowd. So he tried to kill
inch by inch, right?
Yes, inch by inch.
Exactly what happened. This is why when we tried to tell you, we're trying to keep this damn city calm, and this is what is happening.
Oh, they're trying to keep the city calm.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
By blocking people from getting gasoline.
They can't get gas. Right.
Right. And then yelling at them.
Mm-hmm.
You yelling at somebody. So the next time you want to make somebody calm, get in their face and yell at them, drop F-bombs and call them racist, because that's going to make other people calm.
Yeah, that's going to
right now. This is Josh Gillen and friends, folks.
That's
they
it.
will run their car
That's it.
into you, act like they didn't do anything wrong.
You want to talk about inciting a riot?
Oh, inciting a riot.
You want to talk about inciting a riot?
That's called domestic terrorism.
So
that's
getting
called
gas,
domestic terrorism.
Getting gas is an
gosh.
act of domestic terrorism.
Wow.
Look at the guy. He's like 70 years old.
70 years old. And a
He's
bunch
just-
of you kids are out there. You're harassing a guy because he wants to get gas. Holy crap! The hell is wrong with you people?
So fantastic. He's just like, yeah, I just want to get some gas, man.
That's a domestic terrorist. Make sure that they hear.
Where's the laws?
This is domestic
Where's the
terrorism.
laws? Where's the laws for that? This is going.
So that's the end of that video.
Oh, okay. I wanted to see if he actually got his gas and drove off, but
Right? I know. I feel like, like the video was cut short.
So what do the store owners have to say about this? I mean, you're actually barricading a business and not allowing that station to actually conduct business.
Well, they're probably afraid. They probably don't want to say anything because they've seen other BLM protests torch businesses and loot them. So they probably don't want, but here you heard the guy yelling just a minute ago. He's saying he's basically blaming the old man for inciting a riot. So that was inciting a riot. So therefore the translation there is, it's no longer their fault if they riot because the dude with the truck incited the riot. He caused them to riot.
Yeah, because he needed gasoline.
Because he needed gas.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have, this dude has some stones. Like I would not have. I would have just been like, screw this. I'm gonna go find another gas station, right? But he's like, screw it. I got this big old gigantic tank.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna watch me just like slowly push my way through this.
Hold up. No, seriously, hold it up. Hold it back. I want to see it. No, I could not have helped myself. Seriously, with you got all those quote unquote kids who are out there going, we're children, and you're trying to push the truck back. I'd have thrown it in reverse, hit the gas. And then when they're all sitting on their face, I'd have just gone around them and pulled into the gas pump.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Just absolutely ridiculous.
That's hilarious and disgusting at the same time. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I also have another, so in other news that's not BLM.
In other news. Okay.
I don't.
Oh, so, it must be good.
Well, for the last probably month or so, there have been a lot of people on the Democrat side who have been trying to set the foundation that there should not be any presidential debates between Trump and Biden.
I don't blame them.
Right.
I mean, no, let me rephrase that. I understand the basis for such an argument.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, listen to this.
No.
Let me.
Oh no. Oh no. What did you do, Ray?
Listen to Joe Biden. This is now I have no idea why this is why I believe they're trying to keep Joe Biden in the basement and not debate Trump. Listen to Joe Biden here. It's not the point about what he's talking about doesn't really matter, but listen to how he speaks.
COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. I mean, you think about it. More lives this year than any other year for the past 100 years.
What? What? You know what?
If you look at with the numbers, okay. Just think about it. I'm trying. I'm really trying.
You know what comes to mind when I hear that? Hear that is flames
from the side of my face. Big heaving breaths. For anybody out there who does not understand what that reference is, absolutely 100% immediately, for one, shame on you. And two,
right?
Go on to whatever viewing platform you need, Netflix, Hulu. You can find the movie Clue and watch that movie. It will change your life. So,
right. It's a fantastic movie. I love that movie so much.
Madeline Kahn's amazing.
Madeline Kahn. Yes, that's absolutely Madeline Kahn. So the reason why I bring this up, right? Because Nancy Pelosi went out and she spoke about Biden not doing a presidential debate with Trump.
Okay.
I'm going to play a little bit of a clip from
now.
Nancy
Whoa,
Pelosi.
hold on. And before you do that, which I love Nancy Pelosi's moments. They're just absolutely hole in the head amazing. But anyway, I seem to remember there was an accusation supposedly that Trump said Biden refuses and is terrified of debating him on a national stage, in which Biden's retort or response was, I would never shy away from a debate. I'm all for it. Let's do it. If I'm not mistaken, is that correct? Did that not just happen after, I believe it was immediately following the RNC?
Yeah, I believe that happened. Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. So just to be clear, Biden has said he's open and wants to do it.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Continue.
Okay. So you just heard Biden speak, right? Now listen to Nancy Pelosi. She's setting the foundation again. I think she's probably before it was everybody, it was people in the media, it was Democrat strategists who were talking about Biden should not do a presidential debate at all. But now I think this is the most prominent Democrat because Nancy Pelosi, let's face it, she's second in line for the presidency, right? She's Speaker of the House. It goes, President, Vice President, then Speaker of the House. So I think this is the most prominent Democrat politician who has come out to say, yeah, we shouldn't debate President Trump. But listen to Nancy Pelosi for a second here.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
High tech.
Wait. Yeah, I gotta unmute the video. Okay, so I'm not playing any video. I'm just listen to the sound. But
Just
listen,
listening. Okay.
listen to her.
Since you asked about that, I myself just don't tell anybody I told you this, especially don't tell Joe Biden. I don't think that there should be any debates.
Okay, wait. So
What? Okay, whoa, time out. Wait, before you go into it, because I can see it behind your eyebrows as they flutter. So, if you were actually going to say, all right, look, between you and me, and don't tell anybody I said this. Okay, first and foremost, that only works if you're having a private conversation in like a closet with a buddy or a friend. You don't.
She's on C-SPAN.
You don't go on national television and go, shh, I never said this. You never heard me say this. Even with a reporter, you go, hey, off the record, and you just hope and pray that they actually listen to that. You don't actually go on where you're being. Okay.
But
okay.
How smashed is this woman? She is smashed.
She sounds like I do when I get drunk. Hey, okay, no, shut up. Just look. First,
yeah,
dude, I love you. Okay, you know what? Remember
that time?
Just you and me. It's just, I love you, man, and we need to hang out more. Oh, and hey, but shut up. Listen, seriously, shh. Don't tell him I told you. But he don't let him speak in public. Cause serious, shh. I mean, don't say it loud. Shush. He'll hear you. Just shut up. It's just you and me talking. You know what? Heck with all those guys. It's just because you and me. We're gonna have to do this if it goes wrong. So, shush. But seriously, I love you. We should hang out more.
Either she's had a stroke or she's freaking lit. Here, I'm going to play a little bit more. Listen to her some more.
I do not think that the President of the United States has comported himself in a way that anybody should, and that has any association with truth, evidence, data, and fact.
She's
slurring. She would totally get breathalyzed if she were driving.
No. She probably would. She's slurring her word. Here's Nancy Pelosi. So here's Nancy Pelosi 3 days ago. This was September 2nd. Listen to her speak 3 days ago.
I take responsibility for trusting the word of a neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years many times, and that when they said, well, we're able to accommodate people one person at a time, and that we can set up that time, I trusted that.
Okay. This was when she got busted for going to the salon, right?
Going to get her did.
But completely different.
Uh-huh.
completely different. She's not smashed in that one. On C-SPAN, she was completely lit. She had to have been.
Either that or she was just really tired. My daughter sounds like that actually when she gets up from her nap. Daddy, she sounded like that today. Yeah. What, honey? How was your nap? Hi. I'm just really tired. I want to go to bed. You want a snack? Yeah. You want to come sit up on the couch? Okay.
I'm gonna now share this with you so that you can actually see her face, because there's another part that's coming up that is just hysterical to me.
I wouldn't.
Did you hear that?
I did.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm sharing sound. High tech, man. We're high tech here.
We're high tech.
Okay.
I wouldn't legitimize a conversation with him, nor a debate in terms of the presidency of the United States. Now, I know that the Biden campaign thinks in a different way about this, but I thought what he did in the 2016 was disgraceful, stalking Hillary Clinton like that. I was disappointed that the press didn't say, go back to your station. You're not here. You don't own this stage. You have your own podium. She has hers. So
Oh my God. What's that Adam Sandler movie, Big Daddy? You know, the guy who gets up. Are you drunk, Mr. Hooley? I've had a few Chardonnays. What of it? Get off the stand, please.
Oh my God. I mean,
bless her heart. I actually am a little worried. She seems like she's a little bit medicated. Medicated. There's some with stuff.
Yeah. But again, here's why, here's why they don't want him to talk. Listen to this.
Do anything. You always talk about your ability to negotiate. Negotiate a deal. A deal for somebody other than yourself. Now I'm happy to take questions you may have. I guess
he's just, he's all over he can't make a coherent sentence. Hell, I can't make a coherent sentence. It's rubbing off now.
It's contagious. Oh no. Stop. It's happening.
Oh my God.
I hang my head in shame.
Oh my God.
This is actually kind of really sad to think about. These two people are two of what you just referred to as the three front runners for the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All joking aside, this actually makes me very, very sad. It makes me weep for our country, because whether I agree or disagree with the Democratic Party as a whole is irrelevant. We should have at least semi-articulate, clear-headed thinking individuals leading both parties in our political structure.
But hold on, it gets better.
Oh no.
It gets better. I don't know if if you've seen this one. See if you can catch it right at the end. It's only a 7-second clip. Let's see if you can catch the mental fortitude of this guy. Listen to this.
To fund Social Security and eliminate Obamacare in the middle of a pandemic. And to quote,
did you catch that?
Defund? Wait.
Let me play it again. It's right at the end. Let me play it again.
to fund Social Security and eliminate Obamacare in the middle of a pandemic. End of quote.
He says, end of quote.
He was reading the teleprompter.
He was reading the teleprompter. He got to the end where the teleprompter says end of quote, and he read it.
And he read end of quote.
End of quote.
To fund Social Security and eliminate Obamacare in the middle of a pandemic. End of quote.
End of quote. That's supposed to be under your breath or in your head, Joe. Oh, no. Well, they should change the color. Don't read the stuff in blue. Only read the letters that are in yellow. Yellow speak, blue no go. Got it.
Here, this is. So I keep telling people that, first of all, I think the presidential debate, there's supposed to be one at the end of this month. And if we get Joe Biden, if they don't replace his batteries or make sure he's fully charged, it's going to look like Trump is just, diving off of the top turnbuckle onto him.
They're going to have to make the debate turn into they're going to make him look like a bully,
right.
Which they're already starting that narrative, by the way.
Right.
But
listen to Trump. I keep telling people there are so many people that are so mad at Trump about whatever. They have no idea what they're mad about him for. But I keep telling people, what you have to realize is the guy's actually pretty funny. He's actually hysterical. Listen to Trump here. This cracks me up. Listen to this.
Have to do is say, okay, President, now we're ready. Now we're ready. When I watched that scene last night with all of those really horrible people outside of the mayor's house, I also saw the way they shot the young gentleman in the street. He was targeted. They targeted him. They shot him in the street, and then they were so happy, and he died. You don't mention that. You mentioned somebody sprayed paint at somebody from the other side. They shot a man in the street. They executed a man in the street. A religious man in the street. And you don't mention it. It's not even a story. You talk about other things. The press should be ashamed of themselves. I think the press is actually, the media is what's fueling this, more so than even Biden, because Biden doesn't know he's alive.
Biden doesn't know he's alive.
Well, okay, and
come on,
I will
that's
at least,
funny.
For face value, at nothing else, I will agree with one thing for certain, that the media is absolutely fueling all this. I cannot, and I don't think anybody out there can credit Joe Biden himself with fueling it.
No.
Do I think that he's doing anything to stop it? No. Do I think that they were happy that it continues to go on? Yes. Do I think that they're happy that the media does continue to fuel it? Yes. Do I think that they say, yep, keep it going? Sure. Do I think he's actually got any kind of fortitude left in him to fuel anything? No.
But that's funny.
Oh,
even
yeah.
even if you don't like Trump, at the end when he says, "Come on, Biden doesn't even know he's alive."
I think it'd have been funnier if he would have said, Biden's not fueling it. He couldn't even fuel up his own car.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And for those who are unaware, there was new video came out this just a couple of days ago, one maybe 2 days ago. It might have been yesterday or Thursday, I don't remember. And what Trump was talking about there was the guy who was gunned down on the streets of Portland, where one of the Antifa rioters came up behind. The guy wasn't even at the riot. He was walking away from downtown, walking along the street, and this other guy comes up and just shoots him dead right in the middle of the street, walks up from behind him and kills him. And Trump was talking about that. I don't know the organization that the victim is a part of or was a part of. He had a hat on that it's something about prayer. I don't remember. That organization was shut down by Facebook. So Facebook took there's a group page for that club. I don't know what they're called. I have no idea what they are. But they're a group of people that get together and they pray, I guess, right? So they had a Facebook page and Facebook said, nope, that has to go because that incites violence. See, this guy wouldn't be dead if he wasn't a Trump supporter and if he didn't pray. So, the fact that he was a Trump supporter and wore this hat that mentioned prayer on it, that incited the guy to come up and shoot him from behind. And so Facebook has pulled their Facebook page off the internet. But Antifa is still out there.
They get to have their Facebook page.
They still have their Facebook page out there. Now, the shooter was killed. We all know that, right? The shooter was killed. The feds tried to go in and arrest him. He fled Portland. He was in Washington State. They tried to arrest him, and he committed suicide by cop. Right. And now additional footage came out from street cams or something that showed he actually was around the corner and was basically lying in wait for the guy to walk by. So that was not going to have a happy ending for him, and so he took his own life by running into the cops that were trying to arrest him and died.
Yeah. Well, and if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that at or near around his house? Didn't he live in Washington State? Was I correct in that?
That might be the case. Yeah, you might be right in that. I don't really know. The guy was a total D-bag, so
Well, and it wouldn't be the first of the many quote unquote agitators who are actually coming to where these riots are happening, not in and around where they are happening.
Patriot Prayer, that was the name of the organization. Patriot Prayer. Patriot Prayer. So, there was this big article that hit a couple days ago from The Atlantic that basically quoted, tried to allegedly say that Trump said some terrible things about veterans. And of course, the left has been eating it up. But there have been people that were on that trip that have said that never happened. Right. Journalists have come out now and said, oh, no. But I found somebody who was told that story, and so that person now confirmed it. It's like, wait a minute, that's not how confirmation works.
That's not how confirmation works. No,
that's not how that works.
That's hearsay.
Right, that's me confirming hearsay.
Right. Right. I remember how that worked in high school because, rumors. You heard that Billy was with, Joanne or Rose or whoever else, but somebody else was involved and then he cheated on her at a pool party with somebody else. I heard about it from Becky Joe, who was there.
Right. So we believed it because we were 16 and we were dumb. Yeah. So, people have come out, even John Bolton came out and said, no, that never happened. And John Bolton wrote a book that was published earlier this year, and John Bolton is no friend of Donald Trump. And John Bolton's own book eviscerated Trump. And John Bolton himself, in his book, wrote about that trip to France. And not once did he mention anything like this. Keep in mind, this happened in 2018. So this is a 2-year-old story that the press basically sat on since 2018 and decided to release this 60 days before the presidential election. Weird, right? Yeah. But John Bolton has since come out and said, no, this didn't happen. In fact, documents. So the Navy was basically managing the trip to France at the time, and they actually canceled the trip out to Bellawood, and because of weather. And so what the Atlantic reported, part of their story, was that Trump said, no, I'm not going to go out to Belleau Wood because those were a bunch of losers that are buried out there. But that's not what happened. The Navy canceled the trip out there. But of course, people have been believing this hook, line, and sinker. And if you're listening to this and you hate Donald Trump, there are two things that can be true. One, you can still continue to hate Donald Trump. But two, you can recognize that this story is absolute bogus. So anytime anybody prints anything with anonymous sources, you can't, that shouldn't have run. Journalism 101, that article should never have written. But the other thing that is so egregious to that on this fact is the article was published, and in less than 12 hours, there was already a political ad excoriating the president, with people in the ad citing the Atlantic article, which tells me that ad was done before the Atlantic article dropped.
Right. No, and you and you brought up some interesting points about timelines. Don't get me wrong. Especially in the realm of politics, when you hear about damning information about your political opponent, you can whip up a political ad real quick.
Sure you can.
But when you're going to seek and find other people who would be affected by reading an article, well, first off, you have to make sure the article comes out first. Then it has to actually reach their doorstep. Then you have to hear about who these people are. Then you have to send interviewers and camera crew out to get them to get raw footage. Then you have to get that footage back so that you can actually put that into an ad and run it on air. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but you can tell me that you think all of that happened within 12 hours?
Not happening.
Probably not. I'd say that's extremely unlikely.
At least 24 to 48 hours after, it would have, I could see that.
Yeah, a day, two, but within 12 hours, that's pretty good. That's pretty good investigative reporting if you were able to do that. I'm impressed.
And keep in mind that that the reason why we have this right now, at least in my opinion, this is my theory, because the news that has hit just this week in the real world that maybe a lot of people don't even know, because there has been so much noise around the Atlantic article. But did everybody know that Trump actually brokered a peace deal between Serbia and Kosovo? That happened just a couple of days ago. That's a huge thing. That's a huge thing.
It's
They've been
monumental.
fighting for years.
Yeah.
But keep in mind that I think it was a week ago that Trump also brokered a deal between the United Arab Emirates and Israel.
Correct.
Israel actually flew Israel Airlines, right? They actually flew a passenger jet into UAE and landed there.
Yep.
That hasn't been done.
That's never happened. The first time ever. It was incredible.
Right. So here we have President Trump, who is literally brokering peace in the Middle East.
These are things that have not been able to be accomplished in most of our lifetimes.
No.
I mean,
one of these is historic. Just one is absolutely historic. But UAE with Israel and Serbia and Kosovo, any other leader on the planet would get the Nobel Peace Prize.
Correct.
Any leader on the planet would get the Nobel Peace Prize. Trump will not. But remember, Obama got it before he ever did anything. And the Nobel Peace people, right, they said that they awarded it to him for his potentiality.
That's insanity. That's insanity.
Right.
Maybe I should look to try to get them to give me a college degree for my potentiality.
For your potentiality? Sure,
I think that'd be, why not? That'd be great. I mean, really, the only limitation is I don't have the letters behind my name to be able to go do great things. So just give me the letters and I'll go do the great things and show you that, see, I could do it.
So you may not have heard that Trump brokered a peace deal between Serbia and Kosovo. You also may not have heard that the United States was able to add 1.4 million new jobs in the month of August.
No.
Despite all of the economic shutdown,
not with COVID going on.
With COVID going on,
and the new well, I'm using air quotes for everyone on our video. The new Trump economy.
Yeah, and so that took the unemployment rate down from 10.3, I think it was, to about 8.4%. Keep in mind that when Obama was running for re-election in 2012, the unemployment number was right about 8.2%.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Oh, and another reason probably why the Atlantic story was produced. Trump's approval rating, latest Rasmussen polls, had his approval rating up to 52%. And to top it all off, Black approval rates have increased to 45%.
Yep.
Absolutely unheard of. If this is true, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true. I can't believe anything that people say in the polls.
They are polls. Absolutely.
I have no idea.
Yep.
Right. Take it with a grain of salt. I have no idea. People could be lying. I have no idea. But if that is the case, that's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. It is huge. And unfortunately, you say that's part of the reason why this Atlantic story is getting the attention. The fact of the matter is, and we've talked about this before, right now, there's nothing for Democrats to vote for.
Correct.
There's nothing for the left to vote for. The only thing we've got to run on is to try to get people to focus on what they can vote against. That's it.
Right.
And this is not a political leaning argument. This is just looking at the two-party candidates and what they are proposing, the platform they are running on. The Republican is running on a record and talking about what they are going to be doing going forward. The Democratic candidate is running again on, I'm not the Republican candidate, and he's a big meanie head. He's a bully. He's a racist. He's a this. He's a that. And that does not inspire a lot of people. You are going to get support from people who are just generally unhappy. You are. But you're not going to inspire people who really want things to do better, or they want to see a change. I mean, shoot, even Barack Obama, when he ran on hope and change. And that worked. It resonated with people. You're not running on hope and I mean, you're even now you're just saying, I'm just not that guy.
Right. Whoa. Instead, what they're running on Build Back Better, which is the same as Make America Great.
Yeah.
But it's worse. It's worse, in my opinion, because Make America Great Again already exists. And so now they're running on Build Back Better. But keep in mind that the Obama-Biden administration, it took them 27 months to get the unemployment rate from 10% to 8.3%. Trump brought that down to, Trump did the exact same thing, but he did it in 1 month. Now, of course, right, I will agree. If you want to come out and you want to say, Trump didn't do anything, that was the American economy, that was American business and everything and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, to a large degree, you're absolutely right. That is the case. But also keep in mind that the government can influence the things that happen within that economy. They can influence things by talking about and making sure that regulations stay out of people's way, or they can include additional regulation that impedes business prosperity and things of that nature. Politicians can spew rhetoric around increasing or lowering taxes, which can affect how businesses spend their income or spend their revenue dollars, right? Because if you're going to raise taxes on businesses, then businesses will hold some of those dollars to see what actually happens. Or if you're just talking about, hey, we're not going to do anything with your taxes, then that puts people at ease. And now you have investors who can do things more with their money because they don't feel like it's going to be stolen from them.
Right.
So yes, these are things that a government can do and an administration can do to influence okay, influence the economy. They're not directly adding jobs or removing jobs out of the economy as an administrator, as a president and vice president of the United States, but their words have a lot of influence in the behavior of businesses.
Correct. And that extends into the world economy heavily. There's more investment, there's more interest in the American dollar when our country appears to be stable in its governorship. And one of our fellow friends and brothers, accountant, actually has talked about this quite a bit. It really does. When there is faith in the American government system and the economy that we have here, it creates global excitement about development, which only fuels the American economy as well. So there is correlation in there, 100%.
Yeah. So I wanted to show this one thing to you because I think people will get a kick out of it. This is from the University of Southern California, USC, the Trojans. Since I'm a Sun Devil, I hate them. We hate each other. Leave it on the gridiron. I understand. But this should not be happening in anywhere. This should not be happening. And maybe this is something that we talk about going into next week in our podcast, or next week on our podcast, or the week after. But we do not have just mental fortitude in our country, and a lot of the young people that are going through high school or in college right now, I think they lack a lot of they lack mental fortitude, because this is real. This actually happened, and this is egregious. I find this to be egregious. The whole thing, the way that these students respond to this professor is outrageous. Let me play this clip for you.
You have a lot of or, and this is culturally specific. So based on your native language, like in China, the common word is that. So in China, it might be nega. So there's different words that you'll hear.
Did you catch that?
Yeah.
They thought, so he's
they
talking
thought
about
that he was using the black racial slur, or the N word.
Yes.
Instead of, he's actually using a Chinese word
for that. So
okay.
A lot of Chinese speaking people have come out about this story, and they said the professor is absolutely right. In Mandarin, there's a way to pause. We do it in English. People will say a lot, right? A lot of the uhs and ums. Okay. That's our way in the West of taking a pause to prepare your thoughts and what you're going to say next. A lot of Mandarin speakers, they do the same thing, but what they do is they say that. Essentially what they're saying is that. They'll say that. They do that to collect their thoughts before they speak again. But the Mandarin, or the Chinese version for that, sounds like a racial slur in the West. I'll play this again.
You have a lot of or, and this is culturally specific. So based on your native language, like in China, the common word is that. So in China, it might be nega. So there's.
And they heard that on in their class. This was the video from the online
instruction. Okay. Yeah.
And they immediately contacted the school and said, this is a racial slur, and the professor has been suspended.
You've got to be kidding me.
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and to top it all off, the University of Southern California is now offering supportive measures to students.
For people who were offended or upset by this, they can see a counselor and talk about their feelings.
Yes.
What a bunch of friggin' snowflakes this dang country has become.
Yep. For students who were hurt by the professor's use of language in describing the Chinese language. This is what has happened. Yeah.
You know, I was on a rant with you on the phone the other day talking about how America used to be filled of really good-hearted people who would stand up for this country no matter what, and there was a lot of pride in that, and we were a very strong culture. You talked about it, how we kick ass, take names, and talk a lot of shit while doing it. And you know what? You invade our shores, you invade our country, we're gonna put a boot in your ass, and you're gonna get a lot of people to line up and fight. But you know, right now I'm just these are kids that need to get their ass beat and sent crying to their room. They're acting like a bunch of freaking whiny little baby children. And I am getting freaking tired of it, man. Knock it off. He hurt your feelings? Fine. Go sit and think about it and pout. Go sulk in the corner where I don't have to look at your face. Get the frick over it, man. God. I'm serious. These are the kids. These little whiny babies are the ones that are actually going to be taking over and running this country. That scares the shit out of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I just
the amount of, or the lack of mental fortitude, the fact that you can't hear something within its proper context. The professor is not being racist in this. You have to take a step back, and you have to look at what are we talking about. Well, the professor's giving a lecture on the use of filler words in language. That's what he's talking about. And he's talking about Mandarin, for crying out loud.
You know, it would be different if you were sitting in a classroom and this professor was into a heated discussion with a student, and let's just pretend there's an African American student in there who's arguing with him, and he says that, and somebody else gets upset. You know what? Fine. Be upset. Absolutely. That's the context in which you should be upset. But the only thing I'm hearing right now is that you, through your online education, that you are not paying attention to anything the guy said before or after. You are sitting there listening to your music, doodling in your pad, or texting on your phone, and you caught that one thing. It caught your ear, and that's all you jumped on. Because you didn't listen to a dang thing the guy said before.
I mean, at this rate, you couldn't even read Huckleberry Finn, right? You couldn't even read certain texts in school anymore because those texts have that word in there. And if even if you didn't read it out loud, there's a risk now as a professor that students are going to claim that they were triggered because of the book and because the word was there in the book, and therefore now you are suspended and you can't make a living on your own. Well, I mean, this is disgusting.
And just now I have to brush up on my Mandarin to be 100% certain of this, but I don't even think they're spelled the same way. This is not the N word exactly.
Correct. It's like Neige.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's Neige. That's how you would spell it. Of course, you know, in Mandarin, it's with these crazy characters, right? The Chinese characters. But the way you would spell that in English is Neige, because there's actually two characters for the word. I was reading about this. Mm-hmm. There are actually two characters that are used side by side, and the first character is Nei, and the second Chinese character is GE, how you would write it out. That's how you pronounce it. And when you pronounce it, well, that's what you got. I mean, it's
disgusting. It's disgusting.
It's stupid.
And you know what? Shame on the school. I'm sorry. Shame on the school. Because they should. This is a collegiate institution, for crying out loud, who's trying to promote higher learning. I mean, seriously, you go, no, that's not what this is. Either you're paying attention in class or you're not. And if you were paying attention in class, you'd actually know this is not what we're talking about. And if anybody wants to try and bring suit, bring it on. Because obviously you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You get an F for the day, go home.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to end on at least on a lighter note.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I read this the other day and I thought this was absolutely fantastic. So I wanted to share this with you because I think you might get a kick out of it. So this guy, his name is Shiv Ramdas. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but this was a thing that unfolded on Twitter, and it's absolutely hysterical. So I wanted to walk through this with you because I think you'll get a kick out of it. So this guy writes, he says, "Oh my God, my brother-in-law, the gift that never stops giving, was tired of being sent to get rice every day. So he decided to buy in bulk. Talked to the shop about it. Wires got crossed. Now there is a literal truck filled with rice outside the house, and my sister is losing her shit, laughing my fucking ass off." Hold on.
They get a picture? Oh no.
"If you have never heard a woman destroy a man with one sentence 25 times in a row, you should meet my sister. She's terrifying right now. I'm on the phone and I'm scared, and she isn't even angry at me."
I can imagine my wife if I came home and there was a truck full of rice out in the driveway.
Can you imagine? To clarify, this is India. So when I say truck, I don't mean SUV. It is a literal lorry filled with rice. I don't know really what a lorry is, but I'm assuming it's a gigantic truck.
It's a big truck.
It's a big truck, right? Update. So this was happening over several hours. I think when I was following this, it was like 4 hours. Okay.
Okay.
So this is all rolled out. There's a thing called, it's a reader. It rolls everything out. So you see it all in one page. So here he comes again. Update. Bill, I love that. Brother-in-law, BIL. Bill is now negotiating with lorry driver. My request to keep phone on speaker so I can hear have been coldly rebuffed. I can, however, confirm that bribe has been offered and rejected. I cannot say whether this was a question of principle or price. Update 2. Bill wants everyone reading this to know that I'm a dick for live tweeting it, and this is not helping.
Oh, and yeah, well, it's a lorry truck is what you or I would call an actual dump truck that has the lift that lifts it up and dumps out the back. That's a lorry truck.
Okay, I did not know that. Okay, that's even better. That's fantastic. Update 2. Bill wants everyone reading this to know, oh, I've read that part. As a horror writer, I guess that's the guy tweeting. As a horror writer, I can now confirm to you with evidence that anything can be horror. I just watched a man's face curl up in abject terror at the words, quote, "Why is it still outside my house?" Unquote. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Update to drama. Bill had come in to explain that driver insists they'll have to take the rice and pay, but midway through thought better of it and is now negotiating with driver again. An excellent demonstration of the flight instinct in mammals when confronted with mortal peril.
Oh my gosh, I can only imagine. I'd be locked out of my house until the situation is resolved.
Right? Side update. They also apparently have to unload the rice themselves.
Oh my God.
Update. Calls are now being made to owner of warehouse. Update. Warehouse owner is not taking calls. Spot negotiations have resumed.
The guy in the warehouse is going, I knew he didn't know what he was talking about when we did this, but I ain't answering that number. That number is blocked.
Also, all of you enjoying this need to join me in thanking Mom for going above and beyond the call of duty and carrying phone between locations and also relaying key info while somehow also social distancing so we can continue bringing you our live reporting on this unfolding crisis. Update. Bill is making headway. Lorry driver and helper have accepted cigarettes from him. Negotiations have resumed while all three smoke.
No. Okay, stop. I see this unfolding. All right, guys, let's just take a break for a minute. You guys, I need a smoke. You need a smoke? We'll have a smoke. We're all just gonna take a break and have a cigarette, and we just need to take a minute. And I'm just gonna sit here with my foot up on the front bumper of your truck, and we're just gonna all talk like dudes, because you don't understand. My wife is in here, and you got the other two guys going, "Oh yeah." Yeah.
Keep in mind,
Okay.
when I was reading this, I thought of you as the brother-in-law.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Like I could see you doing this.
What, the hanging out and smoking and trying to figure it out, or
trying to
the
figure it out,
being the
yes.
complete ignoramus that actually bought a dump truck full of rice?
Yes.
I hate you so much.
Well, remember, wires got crossed.
Wires got crossed.
Yeah, it gets better. Update: lorry driver just laughed at something Bill said. Bill also laughing. Cigarettes may have been a master stroke by Bill. We're moving our reporting back indoors to inform Sis.
Oh, no, don't ruin it.
Key update: cigarettes were in fact a huge strategic blunder because Bill apparently assured Sis that he's definitely finally quit smoking on Sunday and in no way, shape, or form was supposed to have packs of cigs just there in pocket, ready to be used as negotiating aid.
See? Oh my gosh. This is total, and that's totally my brother, by the way. Absolutely 100%. Oh,
I knew there was a Moret involved somewhere.
Does the wife know he's having a smoke? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go tell her that he's gotten it all worked out because they're joshing over cigarettes.
Yeah. Update: bereft of victims for the moment, sister is now asking me if I knew about this. There may be a slight lull in updates while I swear innocence and try to avoid becoming collateral damage in this tale of Indian carnage.
Karma. That's karma right there.
Did you know about this? I know you know about this.
Not. Oh, wait. I think it's important for me to mention that my reference to karma was strictly about the ideological principle behind it and in no way referencing the Indian
culture
situation or culture in this story. It was not a racial or slur of any kind. It was simply a reference to what goes around comes around idea. Continue.
Update: I have convinced sister that I'm not party to this. However, mom and I have fled back outside because dad just walked in and asked Sis, what is this truck outside?
Oh, no.
And why
Oh no. Now that I get too. Hey, what's with the dump truck? Okay, I gotta go. We're leaving. We're going out front.
Bill update: warehouse owner still not taking calls, but they have reached some chapu of his who told them to call someone named Manu. He'll take care of it. That's all we know about him. He's Manu. This is his number and he'll take care of it. He is the Mr. Wolf of warehouse cock-ups.
We're going to call the wolf? That's all you had to say. That's another movie reference for our listeners, and if you don't know what that is, I'm not explaining it, so
yes,
you can figure it out.
Update: Manu is not answering the phone.
Oh no.
Update: dad has also come outside and joined the outside reporting crew. Mom asked him, why are you here? And his response was, why are you here?
That's a dad response.
Yeah. We're all here. Update: Manu just called. Manu is now speaking to lorry driver. Driver is getting animated. He is the real victim. I kind of agree.
I kind of agree with that too.
Manu is now speaking to Bill. Bill is getting animated. Manu has asked to speak to lorry driver again. Manu clearly believes in getting all sides in a conflict before coming to a decision because he is now speaking to lorry driver's assistant, a wise judge. Maybe he'll want to speak to me too. One can but hope.
Oh my gosh. I can see this unfolding. I'm watching the sitcom
right?
as it rolls up. Yep.
Manu is now speaking to Bill again. So far, he has shown no interest in speaking to us. This is humbling.
That's probably better, really.
Yeah. Mom is scolding dad for demanding to speak to Manu. Dad has been banished back inside as punishment.
No, Dad, don't get involved. Leave it alone. You know what? You're not helping. Go inside.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Manu and Bill do not appear close to a resolution.
Oh.
Dad attempted to break curfew and come back out. He has now claimed he's done with the whole thing and doesn't care. And also, where the hell is dinner? And he is going to room to watch news because state of the world matters more than a ruddy truck. Valid points, but I am skeptical.
Well, that was dangerous. You don't ask about dinner. Not in the middle of the crisis like that.
We haven't even gotten to the best part yet.
Okay.
Breaking news, Manu is coming.
The wolf's coming in person. He's on his way.
First, however, Manu obviously has to talk to Driver again. Manu seems to be a talker. He has lots to say to everyone. Still nothing to say to me, though. Hey, Manu, nobody likes a snob, you know? I'm a person, too. Phone has been hung up. We are now waiting for Manu. And then he says, holy shit, a lot of y'all care about my bill and his misadventures with rice trucks.
Well, now.
He realized, now at this point, he's realized it's been like 2 hours and he's realized that, wow, there are thousands of people retweeting his story.
Yeah.
All right. So then it goes on. Update.
No. Whoa. He says we're still waiting for Manu, but we're getting popcorn?
Oh, yeah. Visit the loo, order some rice. He was telling people to go do that.
Yeah, okay. I got it.
Okay. Update. Manu called again. He is lost and needs directions.
Oh, no.
Mom is making everyone eat food while we wait. Ironically, there is no rice on menu. Update. Mom just called back. I think Manu may have arrived. Okay, we're outside. Sorry about delay, but we're dependent on Mob, who doesn't give a fuck about anyone during dinner, even Manu. Since I know I cared about this and was wondering, Manu kind of looks disappointingly average. He's just normal, random Desi uncle in shirt pant. Sad. I don't know what a shirt pant is.
That's the really baggy pants. We called them hammer pants, kind of. Not parachute pants, Quiney, but yeah, they kind of just hang, you know?
Okay. Manu, lorry driver, and Bill are now all talking, literally all talking at the same time.
No, I told you. No, you said no, yo. What I told you. No, that's not what I said. Don't cut me off.
Bill shows off his chops and seizes the floor. Uh-oh.
What?
Bill is now making what appears to be a passionate case. Manu certainly appears sympathetic. He is nodding. Manu is now nodding at what Driver says. Manu nods at everyone. Uh-oh. Bill just played the "Are you married" card. This is escalating. Manu's sense of husbandly empathy has been invoked.
Yes, I'm telling you, you guys do not understand what this is going to do to my marriage. Are you married? Okay, because I might not be after tonight if this doesn't get fixed.
It turns out Manu is indeed married. Bill is visibly relieved.
Commiserate.
Lorry driver wants them both to know that he, too, is married. In a tragic twist, lorry driver's marriage was not deemed worthy of discussion by anyone. Lorry driver is now my rooting interest. It appears Manu is brokering some sort of compromise. Apparently, compromise is that if Bill buys some sacks of rice, and then Manu will make the rest just go away. Number is under negotiation. Manu has opened aggressively with a "you take half and I take half" offer. Bill has countered by pointing out, in that case, Manu will need to take him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because I won't have a couch to sleep on.
Right.
Seriously.
I can't take half of a dump truck worth of rice.
A dump truck worth of rice.
Bill is now saying he can do 10 bags. But does Manu want a bottle of scotch thrown in? I deeply admire this man's commitment to corruption. Plot twist. Manu is a teetotaler, apparently. I have no idea what that means.
I don't know what a teetotaler is.
I don't know what a teetotaler is. The lorry driver has shared that he, however, would rather like a bottle of whiskey. He is also willing to accept rum. He's accommodating like that. Manu has informed him he won't be getting anything of the sort. Lorry driver looks unhappy. Lorry driver is no longer speaking up when Manu wants him to chime in. Heel turn. Bill just produced an MS Donnie Tom Brady level comeback and has sent for rum for lorry driver. He is exploiting the breach. So now he's going to give them all some alcohol.
Everybody's going to get some booze. So everybody's going to get this rice out of my driveway.
Meanwhile, Mom wants to go to bed, and I need to convince her not to. She is our only window into this Ricely saga. Send thoughts and prayers. Update. Mom is not going to bed just yet. I invoked this ridiculously large audience, and it swayed her.
Wow.
I think she may be judging y'all for caring this much about rice.
It's not the rice. Nobody cares about the rice. This is family drama every family has had. It's just been about different stuff.
Right? But she's been judging me my whole life too. You'll be fine. Uh-oh, here it comes. Neighbor uncle has emerged wearing kurta pajama. He wants to solve the problem himself. Oh my God.
You're getting the block involved, man.
Neighbor uncle has unemerged because he was not wearing a mask, and neighbor aunt was shouting at him. Meanwhile, Bill and Manu seem to be closing in on a deal in the 20 to 25 bag range. Lorry driver is now not even trying to hide his alignment switch. They're now shaking hands. I believe we may have an accord. Final terms, 23 bags, 1 bottle Old Monk, 1 bottle Scotch. Everyone is exhausted.
Everyone's exhausted.
Lorry driver is the best fucking negotiator of the lot. Uh-oh, it's not over. Oh, it's not over. Oh God, now who will unload 23 bags argument has started.
Oh no.
So these must be like giant, like flower-esque type bags. That's the only thing I can imagine. Because if they were like little, you know, like little bags.
No. You're talking bulk rice like this.
Yeah,
in a
you're
dump
talking
truck?
like
now,
big.
I'm actually impressed that they're in bags. But anybody who's ever been to a Sam's Club or a Costco, you know what bags we're talking about. They're
it's like a size of a person.
100-pound bags of rice that
Yeah.
you got to throw up over your shoulder, and they want to unload 23 of them.
Yeah.
All right.
Lorry driver is sick of this shit. He has told helper to unload bags.
You go get bags unloaded. Go. Ensign red shirt. This is your job. That's the only reason I brought you on this stupid venture.
Helper, lorry driver, and Bill are now unloading bags. This will take a while. Manu's work is done. He is leaving. This is not the only crisis he needs to solve tonight, no doubt. No rest for the elite specialist. Neighbor uncle has reemerged, now wearing mask.
Oh, good.
Bill just asked neighbor uncle to help with bags. I don't think I've ever seen a senior citizen walk home that fast.
You want to get involved? You want to help? Here, start grabbing bags of rice. I'm going back inside.
Correction, he is not a senior citizen, apparently. My mistake. Okay, bags have finally been unloaded. Bill is now tipping lorry driver and helper. Helper also wants a bottle of Old Monk. Bill is so broken, he just said, okay, sadly, and went in to get it.
Fine.
Okay, fine.
Whatever. Yeah. Whatever.
Okay, goodbyes are being said. Bill and lorry driver are now besties, it seems. Bill made a joke about hell of a night. Both laughed. Lorry driver made a joke about how Bill's night is only just beginning because he has to go back
inside. Yep.
Bill did not laugh.
I bet not.
Okay, mom's had enough. Everyone has. We all have jobs and beds and lives to get to. So to wrap up, Bill says in the morning he will call friend who works at an NGO to donate the rice. All's well that ends well. Almost. You see, Bill has just realized he was caught with cigarettes. He seems much less eager to go in than 10 seconds ago. Mom, however, is 100% done, so we end our live report this morning with these final images for you of a man standing on his veranda, surrounded by 23 sacks of rice, afraid to open his own front door.
Oh my gosh.
The end.
Wait. I wanted to see the image. I thought when you said images, I thought we were going to actually get pictures.
No,
oh,
he didn't
my
have
gosh.
any pictures.
Yes, I could see him right now. And you know what? At this point, have a smoke.
Right?
In your rice bunker. And just go, well, you know what? Damage is done. I might as well just take a minute and relax.
Right here in front of the door.
I'm just going to, yeah. That's hilarious. That's good. I'm glad you shared that story. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, wasn't it? That was a good one.
That was fun. I feel bad for Bill.
I feel bad for Bill too.
I want to send him a a card and maybe some rice cakes.
Because what's so funny to me is, can you imagine like the initial reaction from the wife?
Yes, I can. 100% can. The whole gambit of emotional turn. I can see the whole thing play out. Shock and awe lasts for a while. You got a dump truck roll up full of rice. The first thing that you are dealing with is a shock and awe state. Complete disbelief. Then when you have to explain that you did it. And it goes from shock and awe to complete disgust and disdain for your existence. And then it migrates then into a bitter acceptance. Fine. You think you're so smart and you're going to save all this money by doing it in bulk? Well, you freaking deal with it, mister. Don't you dare come back in this house until all of that junk is off my lawn. And I want it done right now. and that cycle keeps repeating every time she takes one look out the window. The only thing that changes is in her mind what the end result could be. And that goes that starts with an argument, to couch, to never seeing you again, to divorce, to death even. There is contemplation of murder. And I'm going to bury you in the backyard and cover you with rice. And just when that comes down, she looks back out the window again. And then off we go.
And then the cigarettes.
Oh, no. That's what hurts me the most for him. I'm like, never get into two simultaneous arguments. Never. Just pick one. You take the one, eat your crow, take your licks, get through it. But when you add another stupid decision on top of it, especially smoking. That's just Bill, I'm so sorry for you.
Right. I love
big
Bill.
Dum-dum. I feel for you, but I just can't reach that far.
How long would it take for them to eat a whole sack of rice, let alone 23 sacks of rice?
I guarantee you, she told him more than once. Or asked him the question, what the hell are we going to do with all that? That would feed us for 5 years if we ate nothing but rice. What were you thinking? Don't talk to me. Don't answer the question.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
No, to answer your question, I cannot imagine what that would have gone like or sounded like at all.
Oh, all right. Well, good times.
It was good times.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening.
Yep. Thank you all. Oh, and here's another fun thought. Just speaking of thinking of how this is going to go down. How do you think the conversation's going to go down with my wife when she hears me relaying this whole thing, when she listens to this later on?
I don't know, but you got to call and put her on speakerphone.
I don't trust you that much. You'll probably record it and put it out there as DLC for the rest of our listening audience to listen to.
I would never do that. Ever.
You're a liar.
Oh my gosh. Well, thanks for that.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
That's good stuff. And for everybody listening, as always, you can catch all of our stuff out at fusionunderground.net. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fusion Underground. or / AZ underground, Fusion Underground. Gosh, I can't even speak anymore. Let me try that again. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com / AZ Fusion Underground. Of course, we're also on YouTube, and you can find us on Twitter at the FU Brothers. If you go out to our website, you can get all of the RSS feeds, and you can find us on Anchor, Breaker, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Stitcher, and Apple. Send us emails you can send emails to contact@fusionunderground.net. For Jason Moret, I'm Manuel Ramirez, and you've been listening to the Fusion Underground. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good night.